We are going to be live in a second here. I don't actually know when it actually goes live, so this is like a test. How are you doing, guys? How are you doing? It's once again a Thursday, and yes, I did not do a live stream last week. And the reason is because I released two videos. The second video, Thunderbird, was time sensitive. I had to release it instead of waiting a week. So for that reason, I couldn't do too many videos in that same day. In fact, I already had a video the day before, and which meant nobody watched the video from the day before, because that's how YouTube works. When you overlay with another one, then they stop feeding the last video. So but it was important to get it out. So anyway, so the Thunderbird video went out, and which meant I had no live stream. So we're back to the normal schedule here, and kind of unplanned with the live stream there last week. How are you doing, my friends? Mama Goo. Stream just started 10 seconds ago. I thought it was 1 minute ago. So you have a little bit of a delay. So anyway, the topic today, I hope my volume is okay here. I don't want to speak too close to the mic, because we're going to hear about it. So the video today is kind of a reaction to my last video on 2FA. So that's what we're going to talk about. And for those who are wondering, yes, there's no music because I don't have time to do it right now. To do the music, I have to go out there and record it ahead of time, and I'm just so overwhelmed. There's so many issues, and I want to talk about that doing a separate topic, and that is the Brax 2 OS update today, or yesterday. So we updated the Brax OS yesterday, and there's a little bit of a glitch. So I have to tell you the solution if you have that, and I'll let you know how to quickly fix it so you won't be afraid to do the update. So yeah, just wait till I get to that before you, don't do an update while I'm doing this live stream until I get to that point in the second half. So anyway, Ghost of GG, hello. Cosmic Rose, Becca, Mike. Hello, Mike. Sassy Doe. Okay, so one of the reasons I had to do this particular topic was because I'm tired of getting second guessed by, comments. It just makes me angry. Just, people making comments and, saying that I'm full of disinformation, and some even said I'm a scammer, and it's just all this nonsense, which you ought to wonder when people say that. You ought to wonder. You can tell what I am here. I'm pretty open here about what I think, and I've never come back and said, oh, I said that incorrectly. I didn't really mean that. Google is actually not spying on you. I've never pulled back. I've always told you how it is, and there's some fools out there that think that what I'm doing is, how do they refer to it? Fear-mongering. Fear-mongering. So that's what they said, that what I'm doing, fear-mongering, and I mean I laugh at that. I laugh at that because, if anything, this last video just proved it. I've been talking about 2FA for a zucking year with videos. I have several videos already on 2FA and live streams on 2FA. And this week, I made a video that says, pow, we got one. We caught one. We caught Twitter. Twitter was fine. So obviously, this was under the hood. We didn't know this, but they were already being fined by... But they were already cited by the FCC and the Justice Department, the Department of Justice. And we didn't know this, considering that I made videos about 2FA even from a year ago. And now we find out that Twitter is using your data that is used for 2FA for advertising. Exactly what I said last year, that these parties are using 2FA as an excuse. Yeah, they can say that they're increasing your security, but what do they zucking do with the zucking data that they get from you for 2FA? And there's some idiotic responses to that, which we'll get into. But my goodness, I already now proved to you that these people are in fact doing it. And a bunch of idiots are still questioning this when we have proof now that one party got caught. And in the video, I explained why the other parties are not going to get caught. Because they're not using the phone number. And because they're not using the phone number in this, because that's not what their goal is. They're not selling the phone number. They're not going to get caught, and they are using 2FA for their own purposes that have absolutely nothing to do with your security. And these stupid people, I mean, they're really stupid. They call themselves cybersecurity professionals, and they're really just dumb people who think they know anything, and they know nothing. And they go, hang out in privacytools.io on Reddit. They hang out on Matrix. They hang out with the graphene people. They're all just a bunch of weirdos. Weirdos. Because here I already told you specifically that this is going to happen. That they're going to use 2FA in a bad way. And I just proved to you that it now happened. Somebody did use 2FA in a bad way, and others are using 2FA in a bad way, and these stupid people are going to say, oh, there's Rob, this Braxman guy doing fear-mongering again. I mean, we're beyond fear-mongering here when I just told you that it already happened. Past tense. Past tense. I've already told you that it happened. And then they go leave comments, which I don't argue with anyone. If I'm gonna say a bad thing, I will delete it rather than if I deleted your comment, it's because I'm gonna say something so bad, and I don't like to say negative things, so I'll just delete the comment. And you better just not come back because you're just wasting my time. Okay, you're just wasting my time. So let me just get to the topic at hand though before I go, hammer these fools that just think they understand what they're talking about, because they don't understand. Okay, so and they were like bringing in topics like it's TOTP, man, nobody cares about phone numbers. You sucking idiot. Who cares about TOTP? This has nothing to do with TOTP. The fact of the matter is that Twitter used your fucking phone number. But I don't use the phone number. I don't care what you use. Don't you understand, you stupid Zuck? I don't care what you use. They're going to steal the data that they can. If it's the phone number, that's the phone number. But Google and Apple are not the, at least in the video, it's not Google and Apple that I mentioned, it was Google and Facebook. Google and Facebook are relying on something else with the 2FA data. They're not using a phone number per se. They're using the phone numbers as a way to force you to use mobile. They don't even need the Zucking phone number. It's just a way to force you to use mobile. And you say, why? Why would Google? You know what? These people who hound me, they must work for Google or Facebook. That's what it is. Because, it doesn't make any sense. I'm here to protect you, and this bunch of idiots are saying that I'm here to not protect you. Well, you can listen to them, and if you feel that their ideas are great, then that's fine. And then you don't have to listen to me. But for those of you who actually want to learn, I'm telling you the facts of the matter here. Google wants you to use mobile. And I gave an example that for YouTube creators, this was implemented last year. YouTube creators, and I don't know what other subgroup they implemented it in, but I'm a YouTube creator, so I got hit by this. YouTube creators are required to have a Google Android with a Google app. Let me repeat that again. I cannot use TOTP or phone numbers by themselves. I must have a Google app on an Android or iOS phone. It's required of me. There are no choices left on my YouTube channel to say, I'm going to use phone number only, or I'm going to use a fake phone number, or I'm going to use voice over IP, or whatever trick I'm going to come up with. I don't have that choice. And I think the reason I don't have that choice is it's being tested on us because it's going to be applied to everyone. That's why I'm giving you a zucking warning. This is what this is all about, a warning. I'm telling you that Google intends to apply this to all because their reasoning is very specific. They want you to use a mobile phone. They can no longer accept that you use Google on a computer without a phone. And if you do, they will limit your access. Now, why? This is the question you have to ask yourself. Why does Google want to force you to use a mobile phone? It's something I've been talking about for a while now. And again, a bunch of idiots don't really get this from that subgroup. Obviously, you're all smart people. That's why you're here. But this bunch of people don't get it, that the whole point is called cross-device tracking. Cross-device tracking. They want to make sure that when you use your Google, that you're logged in, and then if you're not logged in, they will track you anyway by cross-device tracking. Now, how does this work? How does this work? It works because they force you to install a Google app on the phone. Now, what happens when you install the Google app on the phone? If it's identified to you, the Google app then tracks the IP address, tracks the IMEI of the phone, and whatever other identifiers that you can get, it's a different one on iOS. Doesn't matter what it is. The point is they can get an identifier on the phone, send it to Google, and say, you're logged in currently, and your phone is at whatever location with this IP address. Therefore, you're sitting on a computer with the same IP address doing Google stuff and you're not logged into Google. They still know who you are because you have a zucking phone. They're able to track now. So if you go and talk to Siri or do whatever you want to do on your phone, Google on the desktop or the laptop knows what you're doing. And now, let's say you're logged in. At some point, you're going to log in on the phone, and let's even give a scenario where you log yourself out of Android. I don't know how practical that is. Who actually logs themselves out of Android? I've never heard of such a process. It's not practical. Okay, so you stay logged in on the phone. You go on your device and you log yourself out of Google, and they said, "Who's this guy?" They said, "Oh, it's the same phone, same location. We track you. Yada, yada, yada. We know where you are. We do. You just talked to Siri and you asked for something. Siri went to Google and searched for it. And now we know that you're looking for a motorcycle. So we're going to pop ads to you on your browser. And even though you didn't do anything on the computer. This is called cross-device tracking. It's a very, very important thing for Google right now because they want to get an identity. This is really what this is all about, guys. Identity. This is what the importance of all this whole process is. This is why all of these people making comments about privacy, they don't really understand the issue. You know why they don't understand the issue? Because they've never dealt with the problems of real privacy, like doxing, like somebody researching you. It's called open source intelligence, OSINT, OSINT. They've never experienced that. All they understand is, nobody hacked my device, or they think nobody hacked their device. And they don't know, and doxing is a practical application of OSINT, because doxing is you take public information that all of you have a lot of stuff on the internet. And it can be found if there's some identifier that can connect you to an identity. And once they do that, you are sucked. So my whole process here of what I teach you is not about perfection where somebody says, well, you use Lineage OS and Lineage talks to Google. It still has supple.google.com, where they get the supplementary GPS satellite list from supl.google.com, which Lineage OS does. Brax does not. Brax 2 does not do that. Lineage does. Who cares? Again, this is complete misunderstanding of the problem. So what? If you don't have any identity, that data is fucking useless. And that's the whole point, people. Do not use a Google phone. Do not use an Apple phone because it has your Google ID, or at some point it had your Google ID, even if you log out, because it knows your IMEI, which it'll match to Google ID. Same with your Apple iOS phone. It will have your Apple ID, your Google ID, and all the other identifiers that can say, oh, that's you. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. I don't even care if I get tracked with trackers. Nobody watched that video. So I'll just summarize it for you. Do not care about the trackers. Who cares? By the way, those people on the graphene site, oh, they're so obsessed with trackers. Why? Because McKay, who wrote the program Exodus, is all about trackers. Who cares about sucking trackers? All you have to do is hide your identity. You can be tracked all day. If they don't know who it is, who cares? You don't need to waste that much time. You don't have to go stop every tracker and stop using every app. No, you don't have to do that. It's not really that complicated. It's about identity. Block the sucking identity. There's a few things you got to do, and you block the sucking identity. Number one is the phone. This is why Google wants to use you to use a mobile phone that belongs to either iOS or Android, so they can fucking track you. When you have a de-Googled phone or a Brax 2 privacy phone or even a Linux phone, they can't track you on the phone. There's no identifier. They lose 90% of their tracking data. 90% is lost if you don't have one of those kinds of phones. They don't know who you are. I don't have any mobile data on Google because I've never had a Google phone in so long. Well, actually, I do have a Google phone because I'm forced to for 2FA. Google forced me. So yes, I carry in my bag a separate Google phone, but it's off. It's off. I don't remember how many times I've turned it on, only when I need 2FA, which I don't think I've turned it on in the last 2 months. And even if I do, I turn it on to get the 2FA, then I turn it off. There's no data. So yes, Google has an identity on me on a Google phone, but without any data because I'm not using the phone. There's nothing. I have an iOS phone. Same. It's off. So how's that going to be to track me? Yeah, they can track me, but they said, this guy doesn't use his phone. There's no judgment they can make. They can't explain what I'm doing. They can't decide what I'm thinking. Otherwise, they know everything you're thinking. They know everything you're doing because they have an identity. Now, just consider a situation where you have no identity. If you have no identity, it doesn't matter what they know about you. And they say, oh, he's a sucking Democrat. Which is good because, Google and Apple like that. But they don't know who you are. They don't know who you are. So they can't even pop ads saying, support such and such. They can't because they don't know who you are. They can't direct anything to you. That's the problem without an identity. They cannot direct something to you. They can't direct a message, which is the whole point here. Stop the sucking message from reaching you, and they can't influence you beyond what you want them to know. It's really simple. Simple concept. And that's all I teach here. This is just really very simple stuff. You don't have to get into all this complex situations that would be necessary if you're in cybersecurity and you're being attacked by somebody and you need a VM and you need to run Unix or you need to run cubes. You have to be on Tor. You got to do all this and all that. And I don't even have an antivirus. I haven't used an antivirus in, I don't know. I can't even remember now. I don't need any of that. Haven't been attacked because they probably don't know who to attack. In order to attack me, you have to know. And since all my connections to the internet are through a VPN, the only other way that they can attack me is if I pick up some, USB drive and plug into my computer that Mr. Robot left on the street there for me to pick up, or if somebody sends me a stupid email with an attachment expecting me to open it. Well, I'm not that dumb. That's probably why I never get any viruses, because I don't open any attachments. Even if it's from someone I know, I'm going to examine it. And if I really want to open it, I'm going to open it on Tor. So the point is, without an identity, you can't be directed. A message cannot be directed to you. If you have an identity, they can obviously target you with ads, and beyond that, they can target you with other ideas that have nothing to do with ads. And I already told you that they know exactly what you think, who is thinking whatever. They have exact locations by Google ID for the normie. Now, most of you don't are using a Google ID now, but I'm sure many of you are careful. But if you're doing certain things, your search engine is Google, your browser is Chrome, you're logged into Google, as many of you are here on YouTube. I'm logged into Google, but I know how to manage it. I've taught you how. Isolate Google, so it doesn't see anything else you're doing. Let Google know what you want it to know. Let Google believe what you want it to believe, which is exactly in my case here. Don't let the AI decide what you are. You decide what you are. Or you can follow those guys in those groups on Reddit that are so focused on trackers and all that, and yet they're on Proton Mail, on and on. I mean, you know, they're in Proton Mail, use their real name, use their real identity, and it's like, oh yeah, we're such a protected lot. Nobody knows anything about us. Yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, if you want to go get training from them, let's see how that goes. Okay, they probably work for Google, because obviously, you know, based on what I do, a lot of people are angry at me, especially those who work for Google, Facebook, Twitter, and all that. So yeah, I'm sure I'm not well liked, but I fight for you, the regular people, not those big tech people. I fight for you. So hopefully I'm doing this in defense of what you guys need, which is help to your privacy. If somebody said, the battle's already lost, so what if you know, a couple hundred people do what you say? The battle is lost. Well, you could say that, except, you know, how many million views have my videos had? I have 17 million views on my videos, which is not a lot, but that means a lot of people have seen my videos. If I can just convince a fraction, even a couple of percent of the population, if I get to that, that's going to trigger something, and that's going to have an effect. Because anyone that they can't identify, guys, cannot be put into the AI database. The AI database can't judge you, because that's what's going to happen. Too bad that the AI videos didn't get traction, because it's a very important topic. So the AI, the machine learning, and all that. I mean, it's just, you know, how it spots you with little patterns that even humans can't find, and yet the AI can find it. So it's going to be interesting. It's how it's spotting what you say in every situation, what you say in your Google Docs, how your face looks, your emotions shown on your Google Photos, how you surround yourself with whatever objects are in the photos. Every object in your photos is categorized by Google. Do you have hunting rifles? Do you have things in the photos that might suggest a certain kind of behavior? It's gonna be tracked. That's part of the profiling. And you don't even know that. Emotional profiling of objects around you, profiling of your friends, and the friends and what their photos are on Google, what their search is, because they're going to match that, What are these guys searching for? Even if you hide from Google and they have photos on Google Photos of other people that they know about and they know what those people are doing, you're going to be profiled. You're going to be profiled. They're going to know everything about you, just like they know every single person who's anti-vax. They know exactly where you are. There's some map. I already saw the map. It's on Jigsaw. They show the actual map. It's in one of my older videos. They took down the map, probably because I showed it. The map, I actually just zeroed in on a place in Texas, a little town in Texas. They actually had dots of where the people lived that were anti-vax. They actually had tons of dots in one of these small towns, and I just picked a Texas town, and just to show. And they haven't had them identified because they're normies, and these normies had, thank you, I love Scotch, thank you. And because they're normies, so they're using Google ID and Apple ID, and so they're tracked to gazoo, and these people are saying, I have nothing to hide. What are you sucking? If you don't think you have something to hide, I mean, that's just a bad example. Obviously, they're going to target you. They're going to target you. They're going to target you with messaging, and they're going to target you in ways they're going to marginalize you as well. They're going to change your search results so you search for something and different things come up because they're going to try to influence you in every way they can. So you think you're really free? You think you can actually search for things that you want to search for? Things don't come up. Why don't things come up on my search? What's going on? Okay, there you go. Oh, I don't care about that. I've nothing to hide. Besides, I'm 72, so I'm not long for this world, so I don't need to worry about this. Yeah, right. You're the same person who says, "Oh, I don't care about the environment anymore, so I'm just going to go do bad stuff and throw trash in the ocean and so on, because I'm not going to be around anyway, so I might as well destroy the world." Is that really what you are? Is that really? Can you do that? And I don't believe that. We do what we believe in. And we want to pass this world to the next generation in the same way that we want to improve on it. It's just how we are. So, the reality is, you need to care because you already care, and you don't need to think about the uselessness of this, because all you have to do is get some small percentage of people to believe. I'm telling you, sometimes I'm surprised at people who recognize me or talk about me in other contexts that I don't even know about, and mention my topics, people I don't know. And it's mentioned to me that was discussed in some group, and my name came up, and nobody even knew who I was, and except for whoever it was that passed it on to me. And it's amazing that it's having an impact, and it's for you to notice like things like this Twitter affair, and how that's an example of how we are going to get abused. So they say, oh, we're going to use it for 2FA. Oh no, we want to identify you. That's really the goal, to identify you. Now, I told you Twitter got caught because they sold the actual phone numbers. Google and Facebook aren't going to sell the phone number because they don't need that. They just want you to use your mobile phone because they're going to identify you from your mobile phone using this technique I keep talking about called cross-device tracking. Very sophisticated technique. They used to require some advanced techniques. They don't even need location tracking. They just need cross-device tracking. They already know it's you. That's it. Doesn't need to be so complicated. So anyway, that's the subject matter. And I hope you take my advice seriously. Again, I don't pull back and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was fear mongering on that, and didn't tell you the right information." These people who talk badly about me, they have a list. It's funny when you see the list. They have a list of, damning evidence is what this one guy said. He actually trolled us on Brax Me, and he gave a list, the damning evidence that I use Lineage OS, therefore, you're zucked up, use Lineage OS. Graphene phones can't be hacked because of IOMMU. It's like, suck. I already had this big debate with somebody, one of those guys. You know, I spent a lot of time debating him, and he was talking, oh yeah, you can't hack, you know, with from the baseband modem because of IOMMU, which is the memory management unit that locks the memory so that the baseband and the application processor can't share, because they share memory, that they can't steal each other's data. In theory, except somebody already hacked an Exynos, which is Samsung, phone, and they actually managed to put a file on the phone storage. They managed to put a file in the file system. So, oh yeah, I can't cross. Like, you sucks. So much ego with these people. They actually think they're perfect. They know what they're talking about, and they don't really know anything. So anyway, you should watch that video. I renamed the video how any phone can be hacked. Not that it's a concern for all of you, because yes, every phone can be hacked, but the chance of us being a target is fairly remote, because it's really targeted mostly against government type targets. So it's not everyone is a target of that, because it's very specific. But to have this ego that, oh, our type of phone can't be hacked, it's like, you're full of it. Don't have that kind of ego. Any phone can be hacked. However, for privacy, that's not our concern. Yes, every phone can be hacked, but who's doing the hacking? It's not, it's not a regular person doing the hacking. It's not a regular hacker. Okay, it takes some extra knowledge and usually inside information that only 3-letter agencies can get, like a Pegasus. Companies hired by government. If you're the NGO group in Israel, yes, you know how to hack an iPhone. Oh, in case you didn't know, this group here, this privacy group on Reddit, oh, they use iPhones. That alone should give you a hint. Watch my videos on iPhones. Suck. Hopefully after last year's set of videos, I have so many of them, or this beginning of this year, I had so many videos on iPhones. I don't want to ever use an iPhone. And I used to be an iPhone user. Just not safe. Not safe. Okay, so thank you for letting me speak out. Thank you very much. So let me change gears here, and we're going to talk about your Q&A and just a little bit about Brax too in a moment here. But in case you didn't know, my sponsor is Linode, and I myself use Linode as my primary platform for servers. So I've got a lot of servers on Linode. And from a pricing point of view, from a tech support point of view, yes, they've been bought by Akamai, but they're definitely a winner. The cheapest, the best tech support, and it's so easy to set up servers because they have little applications that are already preset. It's actually quite simple, and they're so cheap. You can actually, if you want to learn Linux, if you're one of the young people who want to learn Linux and want to learn how to do cloud stuff, certainly you can invest in $5 a month for a Linux server that you can test against it. You can turn on and off, kill it, reprovision it, test your stuff, run different OSs on it, and so on, for as little as $5 a month. If you use my code here, linode.com/RobBraxman, they will give you a 60-day, $200 credit. So your first 2 months of experience in Linode will be free. Okay. Now, what I want to, before I get into your Q&A, and let me start looking at the Q&A questions here. iOS is the most secure OS. Yeah, that's actually true. iOS is the most secure OS. It's the least private OS, though. It's the most secure, but the least private. So, what's your point? If you think iOS is your most private, the most secure OS, then, go use it and lose your privacy. I'm not going to use iOS. Suck. iOS that tracks your phone when you turn the phone off. iOS that can see the contents of your device. iOS that can have AI that can probably examine its surroundings, and it's developing even more and more AI on it. No, bad idea. iOS is really, really bad for privacy. Very, very bad for privacy. Who cares about the security when the privacy is bad? Yeah, they are pretty good on the security side because it's security by obscurity. Very bad on the privacy side. So who are you going to listen to? If you're in the privacy channel, privacy should be the first on your mind. If you're not on the privacy channel, that would be a different thing. This is not the cybersecurity channel. This is the privacy channel. Okay, so any more nonsense like that? Any more nonsense like that? iPhone is a Zucking spy phone. I keep wondering what it's for. So the only logical explanation I have is they must be selling the data to government, because I can't imagine why would you put all these special features on the phone that can spy on us more and more? Why are they doing that? They didn't have to do that, but they do. So anyway, I am on a Xiaomi phone and watching how to be more private online. Yeah, you should change that. How about smartwatches? Smartwatches attached to your normie iOS and Android, Google Android. Come on. Come on. Just use your head. I mean, it's time that you started relying on the computer more. Do you know that 90% of the threats to your privacy are from mobile? That's why Google wants to track you in mobile, because once they got you in mobile, they got you. But if you use a computer and use browser isolation like I suggest, they don't know very little about you. So little. It's amazing how little they know. So, is TikTok bad for privacy? Mike, you use TikTok? I'm sure China has your data. But if you have a de-Google phone, yeah, you're right. What data could they have? No identity. So, yeah, even TikTok can be. Now I don't use TikTok, but even TikTok, you could snip off the stealing of your data with any app. With a privacy phone. Yeah, privacy phone will actually defend you against many of these apps if you want to use it. Thank you. I love Scotch. Have you reviewed any of the Planet Computers phones? No, I've seen the Gemini PDA. That's Linux. Yes. The problem with all the Linux variants, like that Gemini is Linux, and all the different Pine phone variations. I have a Pine phone. My Librem 5 phone hasn't arrived, but I have one given to me. It doesn't work, so I'm not sure about that company. But Pine phone is good company, but it's, you gotta wait for the development. Pine phone's fine. In fact, it's a great company. I'd support them, but I can't recommend them to average people because you'll be inconvenienced. But if you're not a normal user, you're techie, you may want to try a Pine phone. It's not going to be perfect. So just like Brax 2 isn't perfect, but boy, I don't know of a best answer. So let's talk about Brax 2. Brax 2, of course, is my privacy phone. It's a pretty awesome privacy phone, actually. And it's not perfect. And I'm going to tell you some of the imperfections here in a second here. So Brax 2, I released that a few months ago. And I've sold quite a few Brax 2 phones. And some of you are having problems. Some of you, a certain number, small number actually, are having problems with the phone with carriers. And the primary reason is that the IMEI of the phone is unregistered. And if they do an IMEI check, and some carriers do IMEI checks and some don't, those who do IMEI checks find that they think the phone is a 3G phone. So they they block it. So they think it's a Z10 because we didn't register the IMEI, and apparently the range of the IMEIs is close to the number, the identifier for a Z10. I don't know what a Z10 is. I don't know which Z10 it is. So anyway, whatever this Z10 is, they are identifying Brax2 as a Z10, and they're blocking the phone for some carriers like Mint, Cricket, that check the IMEI. I found out today that T-Mobile apparently also checks the IMEI depending on what your setting is on the APN. So apparently, if you have a standard phone, they tell you to go to, what is it? fast.t-mobile.com on your APN settings for the carrier. However, today, T-Mobile has an alternate one. It's epsomething.tmobile.com in your APN settings if you do not have a standard phone. This I believe is something new. And they put it in to make sure that the phones that are not standard are not kicked out. So they don't actually have a problem with a Brax2 phone, but you just have to set the APN correctly. This is new, so I posted it on Brax2. So those having problems, you just need to make sure that you go to, if you're getting disconnected, meaning it works and then it stops working, then you may be being passed through an IMEI check, which it will not do anymore if you go to this other APN. So hopefully this will solve some of this. And unfortunately, the timing is really bad because Brax2 came out when they were changing from 3G and then introduced 5G. So they cut out 3G, introduced 5G. So they're actively blocking certain models like 3G phones. And so, so we're like stuck in that mode there, but they're stopping support of the 3G phones on July 1 anyway. So they're not going to need to do an IMEI check after that. So they apparently repurposed one of these APNs to allow non-standard phones to continue, because obviously Brax2 is a VoLTE phone with VoLTE Wi-Fi and all that. I mean, it's completely compatible. How do I know it's compatible? Because I'm using it. I am using T-Mobile, and it runs on AT&T. And most people who use Verizon are running as well. Not all. And the reason they're not all running on Verizon is because some are using Band 4. The phone does not have Band 4. So I don't expect all of Verizon to work, but for some strange reason, a lot of people just move the SIM cards over and it works fine. So, so if you're on Verizon, you can simply move the SIM card, test it. If it doesn't work, then you have to change carriers. But it may work. I'm going to say 80% of them work. That's my estimate of how many actually just move their Verizon over. So some 20% of Verizon probably don't work because they need Band 4 in their location. So anyway, that's the story on that. But the main problem yesterday was that we updated the OS on Brax2. Now this is a major thing because we upgraded to Android 11 from Android 10, and that's a very major update. And even Linux doesn't allow that kind of update. You have to reflash the phone to do that. And we didn't reflash the phone. We actually did the update directly, and unfortunately there was a glitch. But fortunately we found that the glitch is easy to fix. So the glitch is that your icons disappear. So it's all discussed in Brax.me FAQ. If you forget what I'm saying here, but I'm going to tell you the solution is really simple. So your screen is blank, but if you pull down the notifications a couple times, you expand it to full screen, you will see the settings icon still there. So even though the screen is blank, you can find the settings. You click on settings, go to applications, and look for S Launcher, because the error is with the launcher. You look for S Launcher, this is after the update, and clear storage for the launcher. That's it. Icons come back. Really simple. Okay, go to settings, applications, find S Launcher, and clear the storage, and it works. And other than that, everything works. So I'm sorry about about this, but just like when we were dealing with Linux, Linux phones and so on, and even Lineage OS and some of these other OSs, there's always problems because we are such a small group of people who use this, and small companies coming up with these changes, and it's you got to be patient when you do the Google phone or Brax 2 privacy phone. You got to be a little patient. It's not perfection. It's not perfection. These are not deal killers, but it's not perfection. I'm going to admit to you, it's not perfection. But none of them are serious problems. There's always a solution. And and if you don't want to update right now, then update right now. It's fine too. You can just wait. You can hold off on the update if you don't want to even bother with this, so you don't get disrupted. So you don't have to do the update right this moment. You can wait for us to fix this little problem because we just released it yesterday. So so yes, there are going to be glitches, and some of you just are not patient, and you say, "Oh my gosh, my update lost icons. Let me return the phone," which some of you did, which is fine. But if you want to support what we do, you got to help us fight this. You got to help us fight. You got to help us support this. Many of you are actually supporting, helping me debug, helping me give information to the devs so that the developers can go figure it out. It's very difficult. We're fighting against huge players with a lot of resources. We're all just little guys. My company, we're all just little guys. And to come up with a privacy phone, fighting against the big players and expecting perfection is very, very hard. And we are darn good at it. We're in a good position. The phone is actually functional. The phone works. The phone does what it's supposed to do for privacy, and it's the only solution that's actually in this state where it's close to perfection versus, let's say, a Linux phone. I wish Linux phones were successful too. They're not yet there. A Brax 2 privacy phone is about as close as you can get to having a really, really good privacy phone that's very usable, and there are bugs. Yes, there are bugs. There are bugs. If you tell me there are no bugs, I'm not going to be lying to you. Yes, there are bugs. So somebody said he's lying. There are bugs. Yes, there are bugs. We're working on it, but we promised to update to the next version of Android. We did, and the source code is going to be released now very soon, since we wanted to get it to Android 11, and then and so on. And somebody's going to say, "Oh wow, you're still on Android 11." Guys, who cares what Android it is? It's about the privacy aspect. Again, we are small people here. Small companies dealing with complex issues, and we're not going to be in the forefront. We can't release something, the day after Google releases something, because we got to get programmers to go figure it out, and often even Lineage OS is a year behind. So, if you're not sponsored by Google, you don't get the resources, and you got to dig and you got to find that information, and the issue is functionality. Is it functional? Can we get it done? Do we have our privacy? I'm going to tell you right now that at the moment, a Brax 2 phone is still the most private thing I can think of. It is awesome. It is super awesome. I use it and I'm saying to myself, what do they know about me? Nothing. It is so awesome. They don't know anything about me on a Brax 2 phone. And I really want to recommend that you use a phone less anyway and use more of a computer. But while I'm using the phone, I don't sense that I'm actually that far away from what normies do. It's, it's about as close as I can get to a normie phone, and yet have absolutely no identity on the phone. No identity. So it's super awesome. So anyway, I just want to make sure that I vent here. Yes, we're not perfect. If you want perfection, I don't think you should buy this phone. I'm not sure what to recommend to you other than maybe not use a phone and use a computer, because even though Brax 2 is not perfect, I don't know what to suggest to you. Because Brax 2 is about as close to perfection as I have. And it's not perfect. Okay? Same with Lineage OS. It's not perfect. And some of these other OSs, even those promoted by screwy people, are very difficult for the average person to use. They don't have micro G, no Aurora Store. They basically don't want you to use any app. So you got to figure it out. Yeah, you can install it yourself, but that's not what average people do. So, yeah. So we're trying here. You got to help us. Hopefully you want to help us, get a bit of traction here. Because only if we can succeed here can we go push this and provide even better solution. Now, I do have another phone model coming out in late July, and it's the Brax 2 USA version. So we have a Brax 2 USA version coming out in July, late July, probably early August. And Amazon doesn't like our product on the Amazon store. I don't know if I can continue selling the current product on Amazon. If you don't find it on Amazon, go to Brax.me and find it. And the reason is that because of the carrier issues, a lot of people don't ask for tech support. They just return the phone, and the return rate on Amazon is very high because there's no one talks to you. They put on a SIM card that doesn't work, they blame me and they return the phone. When the actual problem is because of this change to 3G and the IMEI is not registered, you have to tweak the APN on these phones to get the correct APN on, because those stupid carriers don't update it. And the problem was with the carriers, but because of the 3G shift and all that, they can't handle like new phone models because they don't know what to do. And the people are untrained. So they keep returning the phones. So there's a very high return rate on Amazon, not on my own store, but on Amazon, because on my store, they can talk to me and I can give them the tip. So if you're going to buy from Amazon, talk to us. Get tech support from Brax.me. Just because you bought it from Amazon doesn't mean you can't get tech support. So you can get tech support from us on Brax.me. And then we'll explain to you about this APN and all this stuff. So there are problems, and they're carrier related. If you get a brand new Brax phone and you're getting disconnected, we found the answer for T-Mobile. T-Mobile did have a problem. They admitted to it. Today they released a new APN for non-popular phones. Just today. Very interesting. Just today. So anyway, that's help us, help this project go along, because the more of you to support this project, the more we can continue to the next model. So the next model coming out in July has a registered IMEI. So it will actually say what the model is. So that's the one coming out in July. And aside from a registered IMEI, that phone will have Band 4. Band 4 is a Verizon band that they need, and so we will have Band 4. It'll be the USA version. The other version will be the international version, which I still have. So I still have stock of the current phone. That will then remain as the international version. The software will be the same. Brax OS will be the same. They'll just the US version will just have the registered IMEI and USA Band 4. Okay, so that's only for those on Verizon. If you're not on Verizon, it doesn't matter which phone you have. Okay, so again, it's it's tough. Look at me, guys. I'm being attacked daily. I'm overwhelmed with tech support, trying to help each and every one of you, answering questions. I don't get any rest. Okay, it's very tough. You think that I have an easy job here? It's very, very hard to do this. And on top of that, my viewership, as you know, has dropped significantly. I'm back to my viewership from a year ago. So no, more than a year ago. So yeah, I have the equivalent traffic of 100,000 channel, not 363,000 channel. I have the viewership of 100,000. Because, you know, when Google stops feeding you, they make the choices, and I don't really have any input on it. If they don't feed the video, then they can kind of control that. Is that shadow banning? Don't care. We'll just do what we do. So whether it's shadow banning or not, we don't have to worry. So anyway, what else are you asking here? Yeah, I mean, I can use that as an excuse that I'm being throttled, but the fact of the matter is, you know, let's use it as an excuse to make better videos. So if you're not watching me, then maybe my videos aren't good. Hopefully next week's video will be good. Next week's video will be a nice teaching video and teach you about something new. So yeah, I'll teach you how to back up your phone. How to back up your phone. Kind of a common problem, and you know, not back up everything on your phone, but back up parts of your phone automatically. So we're going to teach you how to do that. So I think that's an interesting topic. You know, who will watch it? I don't know. But if you have a Brax2 phone, you want to back it up, let's go figure that out. Okay, sometimes you want to back up your computer as well, not just your phone. It doesn't matter what you want to back up. We'll figure it out. So upload your videos in TikTok. Oh, I have to go short form. I got to say something in 30 seconds. Got it. Okay. So, yeah. I'm even shortening my videos. My videos are shorter. Instead of, I usually shoot for, in the past, from 20 to 25 minute videos. Now I'm shooting for, you know, 10 to 15 minutes. Some even shorter. Like the Thunderbird video was only 6 minutes. So I'm just experimenting here. Experimenting. Whatever is good for you guys. So let's see. Possible to get email into updates for purchasers. What does that mean? Possible to get email into updates. What is an update? Email info updates for. I don't know your emails, guys. Sorry, I don't collect emails. I don't collect IMEIs. I don't know who owns the phone. Some of you buy, you know, in other ways that are completely unidentified. Some of you buy on Brax.me and not have any email. So I can't really do that. And as you know, I don't spam you with email because I don't have it. That's part of the identity problem. And I know I'm losing out on that, but it's just something I believe strongly in, that I shouldn't be spreading contact lists of people and their emails, because that's bad. Even though you buy from my site and I theoretically have PayPal emails of some of you, I never use it. Except to verify your PayPal transaction, but I don't use it. I don't use it to send you email messages, nothing. And out of respect for privacy, so there's no database of you, you know, one collected database that can be used in any particular purpose. It's part of my belief that I should protect you. Thank you, Queen Sophia. Thank you. You know, I appreciate that. I mean, you know, I think you should be able to tell if a person is honest or not. And there are people out there who talk about me, but you don't know who they are. They never show their face. There are even privacy channels that don't show their face. And you're supposed to trust them. You're even told to trust VPNs like NordVPN and PIA. Is there a Mr. Nord? Is there a Mr. PIA? I mean, have you actually met these people? Is there a Mr. Proton? Okay. So Bytes VPN, my VPN, you see my face. You can talk to me directly about it. So, you know, to me, trust is very, very important here. I don't cheat people. That's one thing that I do. I often will take a loss just because I don't want to cheat you. Some people cheat me, which upsets me. Some people do cheat me, but I don't cheat you. Some of you cheat me and don't know you're cheating me because you're so insensitive you don't even think that. And yet I don't complain about it. So, yeah. So anyway, that's, some of you know me. Thank you, Mysticulous. I actually don't know who Mysticulous is. I know who Great Gold is, but I don't know who Mysticulous is. I know it's, somebody I know, except I don't know who. So, I don't even try to know. And I some of you know me for so long. Now I've been doing this for I think 8 years now, where I've been in the public talking about some of these topics, and you can find videos from 8 years ago, and I have a consistent message all the time. I actually never changed this. A lot of the stuff I'm talking today is stuff I've talked about before. Maybe just updated or presented in a slightly different way. But if anything, I'm very consistent. So these people who call me names, what are your street creds? What have you really done? And don't tell me you are such an expert because you modified Android. Okay? Did you write Android? How about really proving yourself by creating your own operating system? In which case I'll say, wow. Okay? I thought 8. That's funny. I'm 80 years old. So, look at this. Can I tell you what just happened? Google just popped a message to me that it's time for me to pop an ad. Wow, that's funny. Time for me to pop an ad during the live stream. I didn't know that. Can I do that? Let me just try. Okay, this is an experiment. Don't get mad at me. I just want to try this. Okay, and I'm going to click on insert ad. Okay, did anything happen? Let me know if anything happened, or is it on the replay? Did anything happen, guys? Did you see an ad? There's an ad? No, seriously. Nothing happened. Okay. Did something actually happen? Some of you see an ad. I stopped it, but the ad started. That's funny. That is so funny. That is so funny. Wow, I just didn't notice that. I just saw something. It just popped up on the screen. That popped up on the screen. That is hilarious. So I can actually pop ads. Wow. I'm not gonna do that to you, but boy, that is funny. Oh gosh, that is funny. Okay, so I'm not gonna abuse you with that. There's no need for you to see an ad. In case you didn't know, the income I get from ads here on YouTube is so minuscule. It's basically like buying me coffee. That's about it. And I don't mean each of you buying me coffee. I mean all of you in the entire live stream will have bought me coffee. So that's everyone. So except for the people who did super chats, those people actually contribute directly. So that is very, very appreciated. So thank you for those who do the super chats. Thank you for those who buy the products. Thank you for those who go to Patreon. I'm sorry I'm not able to kind of keep track of Patreon and send messages there. If you're on Patreon, please send messages on BraxMe. I really appreciate it, but it's just too much traffic. And I gotta, I gotta just stick to one platform. So I talk only on BraxMe. And there's enough group activity that you can actually get information from the group, and then I'll butt in from time to time. So I can't actually do, because I'm responding to thousands of messages, and it's really, really hard. So anyway, guys, not just Brax phones, but I do have a VPN, which many of you support. Thank you so much for supporting that. It's so sad I can't sell you Brax routers because I cannot find Raspberry Pis. So it's really bad. I mean, I haven't had Brax routers in, I don't know, 8-9 months now, which was, you know, a significant part of the sales on this channel, and I can't sell a single one. So, and I looked at the price of Raspberry Pis and they tripled in price. So talk about supply chain. So it's really, really terrible that I can't do that. But the VPN is still available. The Brax mail is still available. Yeah. Rob, I'd buy you coffee for a week, but YouTube not getting any. Thank you. Thank you. Raspberry Pis are in Europe. Raspberry Pis, there are Raspberry Pis in Europe, then ship me some. Actually, I get my Raspberry Pis from Canada, and my Canadian supplier can't sell me Raspberry Pis. My supplier is CanaKit. Canada Kit. Anyway, so they haven't. They're one of the biggest suppliers of Raspberry Pis. I used to buy tons of Raspberry Pis from them, and they haven't sold me any. You know, I got my last shipment of 25 units. That's it. You know, I used to buy so much a week, like so many a week, and I can't even buy that. So it's really, really a shame. So in any case, Brax mail, $50 a year. And Bytes VPN. And Bytes VPN is good because there's not that many users per server. So I don't abuse you. That's why it's more costly, because I provide more resources per server. So it's more expensive than, you know, let's say what Nord or some of these other players do. They charge you less, but they actually, you know, share you with many, many more people. And then you get a little target in your head because they're so big that all of their IP addresses are actually known to Google, Apple, Facebook. Yeah, I mean, who would not know their IP addresses? All you have to do is go look at your population and see who has duplicate IP addresses. And there are probably thousands of people with the same IP address, and that makes it obvious that you're in a VPN. Is there a Brax tax? What is a Brax tax? I don't have time to manufacture a Brax home security system. For one, they use Raspberry Pis, and I don't have Raspberry Pis. So that's kind of shuts that down. Do you offer static IP? How much? I don't, but you can get one on, you can use one on Linode. If you want me to set up your own private VPN so you can have a static IP, we can do that for you. It's more costly though. Just so you know. I mean, since it's only you on the server. So, yeah, we can do that. It's custom, but we can do that. Give us a lowdown on Signal still safe. Yeah, use Signal properly, meaning with family. Family is fine. I wouldn't use Signal for... You can use it as your messaging app, meaning SMS. That's fine. But as actually, when you use it as an actual signal, meaning encrypted, I would do that only with family because you're revealing your phone number. That should be common sense. Okay. Breath stacks are always... they just played an ad and I exited. Okay. How does America make our own Raspberry Pi? The one that can make the Raspberry Pi is the UK, because Raspberry Pi license is owned by the Raspberry Pi Foundation in the UK. But in order to make it cheaply, they have to make it in China, and we probably need to rethink that everything is made in China, because they're not making Raspberry Pis. Which is like, why is China not making the Raspberry Pis? I don't have an explanation. I don't know why. Does anyone's Bytes VPN randomly disconnects? No, my Bytes VPN does not randomly disconnect. and I use Bytes VPN every fucking day. However, what may be happening is that we are resetting servers, and you may be experiencing this. Well, maybe not, because this will only be a one-time effect. Many copyright violations, which require us to reprovision the server. We have to kill the server and reprovision it every time you have a copyright violation. So it's very tedious work. So obviously it gets disrupted when we have to reset the server. Now, if you're having disconnects with Bytes VPN itself, you could be being throttled by your ISP. That has nothing to do with our servers. Our servers are running on Linode very steadily, and we can see if they drop. We can see if they drop. If you are complaining about a specific server, give us the IP address. We'll look at the server, look at the log, and see if it's on our end, which I doubt, because Linode is very good. I mean, I haven't had. I mean, my own use of Bytes VPN. I have a Brax router, at my house, and remotely I use Bytes VPN on OpenVPN. Very steady, very steady, and I'm sure most of you have very steady connections. And if you don't, you may be being throttled locally. $135 for Raspberry Pi. Oh, that's 16 gigabyte. You don't need that. You don't need that. But just so you understand, a 4 gigabyte Raspberry Pi was $35. That's how much I paid for it. 2 gigabytes, 1 gigabyte, all of that actually work. It doesn't matter what the size is. And I used to get those for $35. I sold it to you for $35 plus the case, plus the power supply, plus all that, for around complete with the case, power supply, SD card, for $99. That's what I used to sell it for. So for $135, by the time you put in the case and everything, you'll be at $200. It's $100 more. So, and the reason they do that is because you can't buy Raspberry Pis, so they just have a handful. Is it safe to buy refurbished laptops? Yeah, if they have a return policy, you can. Yeah, I have purchased many refurbished laptops. It's actually a good deal. So I have, for secondary laptops, I do that because Linux works on old laptops. So yeah, I do that all the time. However, many of them are bad, so I have to return them. So just check the return policy. If you can return them, then it's good. I think a video on how to change the APN on your Brax phone would do pretty well. You don't think you can figure that out? Okay, that'll be a short. That'll be a short. Can you supply the kit for those of us with a Raspberry Pi? Yeah, you can buy the software from us. The kit, there's no kit. It's just you buy the power supply. You can buy those separately. They're not expensive. Only the Raspberry Pi is expensive. The rest of them are cheap. You can buy the case for $5 to $10. The power supply for $9 to $12. You can get a SD card chip for $5 to $10. What else do you need? That should do it. So yeah, you can buy all that, or you can buy a kit from Amazon, and then you can buy the software for me. The software is $99. So what's a good laptop? Well, depends on what you want to use. I do Linux, so I'm using a Dell XPS, which is Linux compatible, really good for that. And Huge debate. Huge debate. Huge debate. What are we going to do with this Bitcoin? Let's see. Support big tech while you at it. Have to go. My phone battery gone low. See you later, Ponyo. Thank you, Smile a while. I'm running out of time here. I got only 15 minutes, it looks like. I've been following for more than a year now. Kudos to your channel. Thank you, John. Thank you. I have a jazz channel. It's Rob Braxman Music. Or, no, sorry. Rob Braxman Jazz. I have a sailing channel. Rob's Off-Grid Sailing Project. And, yeah, you should... that's if you're interested in that. It's... So I basically I've set up my boat. So I have a boat, and it's actually a new boat, but I've reconfigured it. I put in I just finished putting in a water maker, and last year I put in solar. I put in inverter, and some of this is not in the video. Put in radar and everything. The point is that sailboat is pretty much ready for off-grid. It's ready for off-grid. It's I went to Catalina off-grid. We had unlimited water supply, which is like amazing to have unlimited water supply. So when you're off-grid, as we were in Catalina, and you have unlimited water supply and you're able to take hot showers and not run out of water. Wow, that's like a test. So yeah. So that's in that other channel, and it's just a little project to make sure that, because I'm kind of a prepper guy, and that's just putting in little things like that, and seeing if it works, and yeah, and so very successful project so far with that water maker. CTR Labs. I don't know what CTR. Will Prowse is awesome. I mean, you want to learn some advanced solar and battery stuff. Yeah, Will Prowse. It's an excellent channel. He's actually goes into much more detail than your regular channel. That's why he makes so much money now with his channel, and he buys Teslas every week, I think. His channel is doing so well, he buys a Tesla every week. What do you think about decentralized VPN like Orchid, Mysterium? Some of these decentralized VPNs have a problem, and that is a decentralized VPN exchanges your IP address with another. The problem that I have with them is, because I have a DVPN from Deeper VPN. They gave me one. So I have a VPN from Deeper VPN. I actually haven't used it. And the reason is, if somebody downloads illegal content and use your IP address, you get stuck with the lawsuit. So there's no protection for stuff like that. And that really bothers me, because people do that all the time. As I know, because they do it on the VPN. On the VPN, I'm defending you. So because I'm a third party, I'm able to say, I didn't do it, I'm just a pass-through. But if it's your home IP address, I don't know how you're going to explain that it's not you. So that's that's my problem with that. So the VPN company can go in your defense, which we do, if you know how many copyright violations there are daily. Please don't do copyright violations using BitTorrent on Bytes VPN. Please don't. Really, it's terrible of you to do that. You think you're saving a couple of bucks because you don't want to pay for the movie, but the kind of trouble you put everyone in, it's awful. And you think you're actually doing something good, when actually you don't know that you're downloading the video from the agent of Sony and so on, Paramount. You're actually downloading from their agent. That's why they're catching you. Okay, and we're not passing you. When they catch you, I don't say, okay, it's one of you. We protect you. We stop it at the gate. So we fight them every day. That's part of what tech support does. They fight these, people from the copyright holders. We have to fight the copyright holders daily. It's a big chunk of our day. Entrapment, yes, it's what it is. So don't do it. It's very bad for privacy. BitTorrent is really bad because it really is entrapment. So you think you're winning, you're not. And you're lucky I'm protecting you. And, all you're doing is increasing the cost of the VPN. Is there a difference between Braxton phones and others you sell? Yes, the Brax phones, they're not Braxton phones, but they're Brax phones. The Brax phone is a different OS. On the other phones, I'm installing Lineage OS. Lineage OS is fine. There's absolutely no problem with Lineage OS for privacy, in spite of what others say about cybersecurity. There are things that are not perfect on it, but for the most part, it's very nicely private to use Lineage OS. The problem is it's harder to update Lineage OS because if you hit reset, you lose everything. Then you got to send it back to me. Brax 2 phone, you can reset all day, all night, and you don't, it'll go back to factory, and you don't have to talk to me. You can do it on your own. So, and we have a longer life cycle for maintaining Brax OS. So, but Brax OS only runs on Brax 2 phone. And the advantage of a non-Brax 2 phone is that you can get a higher grade phone like a Pixel 5. Do I have a Pixel 5 in here? I don't have a Pixel 5 right in front of me here. This is a Pixel 3. But the Pixel 5s are, newer phones. They're last year's model from a few months ago. So they're very high-end phones, and, they are very expensive brand new. So if you want that kind of higher end phone, yeah, you can use Lineage OS. So yeah, you can do that. If you want us to load some other OS on it, we can do that as well. Okay, so if I were you, as far as financial deal, the Brax 2 phone is super cheap. We're selling it for under $400. It's $399 with shipping. I mean, that's pretty cheap for what it is. It's a very nice phone. So that's the advantage. Okay, so I'm from Google and I'm here to help. Huge D Byte is a good friend from Periscope days. Been around a long time. Thank you for being here, Huge D Byte. As you can see, Huge D Byte, I'm losing my audience now. I'm a very small channel now in comparison. That's fine. We'll do what we need to do. You did purchase. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Great price for what you are getting. Yeah. So based on the cost, I may have to raise the price. I'm going to try to keep it down as long as I can, but the costs are going up for me because of the carrier business. So, how new T-Mobile APN, please? Oh, it's on. It's posted on BraxMe FAQ. Go to BraxMe in the FAQ section. You'll see the notation. It's also discussed in the carrier Brax 2 carrier issues chat. And the person reported that they talked to high-end tech on T-Mobile, and they gave them a new APN server instead of fast.tmobile.com. They have something else. EP something at .tmobile.com. I forget, but it's on FAQ, and apparently if you're having a problem with your T-Mobile, that will fix it. Okay, BraxMe not loading. Why is BraxMe not loading? Is it down? Somebody trying to hack me right now? Well, I won't be able to help you right this moment because I'm broadcasting, but I won't be available for probably an hour before I can get into it. So if there's a problem with it, with BraxMe, if it's down. Yeah, give me a moment to. I may need an hour to go get to it. I gotta go someplace, and that will prevent me from fixing it. Can you comment on decentralized search? The problem with decentralized search is it's still getting it from a central source. So it's not, when you say decentralized, it's not really, it's taking data from other places. Braxme is okay, Mysticulous? Okay, good. Mods, post the APN for us. Come on, go to Braxme and learn it the right way. Thank you. Braxme is working great. So Braxme is a very small platform. The number of subscribers on Braxme is about equal to the number of subscribers on Odyssey. So I have 70 plus thousand subscribers on Braxme, which is the same as my subscriber count on Odyssey. It's interesting how the two match. So thank you for being there. I mean, 72,000 people going there and using our services. That's pretty awesome. So people, ask questions. There's community, and I haven't had too much time to go update it. But for what we're trying to do is just get people to talk. It's happening. So I only have 4 minutes left. Can you de-Google a pacemaker? Are you saying your pacemaker is attached to Google? Zuck. That's pretty bad if it's attached to Google. Let's see. I am an alumni of CSUMB. I'm not from Monterey. It's just tourist T-shirt. If you're ready, when you're ready, it's all about 2029. Now I got to go remember that. Huge C-Byte always has the little tidbits. So something must be happening on that date. I'm gonna guess I know what it is. Okay, so looks like site works just fine. Good to know. Let's see. You're in Monterey now. Wow. Yeah, I want to visit soon. I don't know when that is gonna be, but I like going to Monterey. So maybe you'll see me in Monterey. Would be nice if I could just sail to Monterey, but I don't have that kind of time. From Virginia, though. But I thought you're in Monterey right now, but you're just visiting in Monterey. You're from Virginia, but you're visiting Monterey. Got gifted Pixel 6 loaded from your son. CTAX? Are you sure you meant CTAX or Calyx? You must mean Calyx. Can you de-Google Alexa or Siri? Turn off your pacemaker remote reader. You're just visiting. Okay. So anyway, we're out of time, and again, don't waste your time with the naysayers out there. I give you a consistent message. The message is consistent every week. If you question the logic, we can always discuss it in a nice way, and and ascertain what it is that's different from what I'm saying versus what you're saying. But I don't make my statements lightly. Everything I say is derived from something, and often I get a clue, and it's called OSINT. Okay, it's an intelligence method where I can sense that they're going to do something, just like what Apple's doing is really bugging me. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see if I can finish that video that I intend for you next week to teach you something new on how to back up your phone. So thank you very much, and see you later, my friends. I guess I still have a few seconds there. Thank you, Roy. Thank you. Austin has been doing wonders with Ukraine info. Really? Okay, so see you next time. Bye-bye.